Hello, good morning, students. I am Professor Ramkumar Singh talking to my dear students of BA Part 2nd English Literature. As you know, we have been studying Thomas Gray's famous poem, An Elegy Written in a Country Churchyard, for a couple of weeks. Why have we taken such a long period to do this poem? Because an elegy is a very typical poem. It is very difficult to follow. It is so rich in content. It is so rich in literary devices that it takes time to deal with. Anyhow, I hope you must have gone through. You must have gone through the poem. I would like to remind you that I have explained each and every line and word of the poem on your YouTube channel. I have given the meaning, I have given the paraphrase of these stanzas in your WhatsApp group. But I'm sorry to say, I have not got your responses so far. I am still waiting for your response. I am giving you the home assignment to which you are expected to respond, but so far you have not responded, and I hope, I request you to go through the poem, to listen to the lectures on the YouTube channel, and go through the content in your WhatsApp group. Dear students, today I am going to put the summary of the poem. An Elegy Written in a Country Churchyard is a long poem. It has 32 quatrains. A quatrain is a stanza of 4 lines with the rhyme scheme ABAB, and it has a iambic pentameter line. I have explained all these things, iambic pentameter line and rhyme scheme, in your first year classes, and I hope you still remember what is an iambic pentameter line and what is rhyme scheme. Anyhow, An Elegy Written in a Country Churchyard has 32 stanzas, and these 32 stanzas can be divided into 8 steps so that you can understand the development of thought in the poem. How does the poem advance? How does the poet move forward in the poem? To serve this purpose, to explain this point, I have divided these 32 stanzas into 8 steps. I have made the groups of stanzas so that you can know what is there in the poem. So the poem begins with the picture of the rural evening in the first 3 stanzas. Mind it, you can see it on the screen. In the first 3 quatrains, or you can say in the first 12 lines, the poet presents the picture of the rural evening. What is there in the picture of the rural evening? The poet is standing alone in the village churchyard. The farmers are returning, the cattle are returning, or rather they have returned. The poet is left alone, darkness is growing, and the landscape becomes invisible. There is complete silence in the atmosphere. This silence is being broken by 3 sounds: the flying beetle, the owl, and the tinkling bells. Otherwise, there is complete silence. After creating the picture of the rural evening, the poet moves to the second step, that is the introduction of the forefathers of the small hamlet. This is the real theme of the poem. The aim of the poem is to establish the honor of the unhonored dead. The poem is an artless tale of the poor villagers. The poem is a short and simple annals of the poor. So in the second step, That is from the fourth quatrain to the seventh quatrain, the poet introduces the forefathers of the small hamlet. They have been buried in their narrow graves. Their graves are not very grand. Ultimately, after all, they were very poor people, so they have been buried in their narrow graves, and they had been loving fathers, they had been loving husbands. When they were alive, they were very hard workers, and the poet arouses our sympathy for the dead villagers. In the third step, that is from the eighth to 11th stanza, the poet addresses the upper class people. Very important step here. The poet proves that the upper class people are not superior to the lower class people in any way, because the worldly possessions make no difference. Birth in high family, wealth, beauty, power, etc. are not the armors against death. The poor people die, the rich people die. Nature has not made any difference. God has not made any difference, and this is the democratic spirit of the poem. I would like to emphasize the point that the seeds of democracy can be seen in these stanzas. After all, what is democracy? Democracy is the spirit. Democracy is the spirit that all human beings are equal, and the caste superiority is not logical. So the poet addresses the upper class people and advises them not to ridicule the poor class people, because death is universal, death is for all, and moreover, the pomp and show after death is also meaningless. Monuments are also meaningless. Songs of praise are also meaningless. Post-death activities are meaningless, because dead are dead. They listen to nothing. Then the poet moves to the fourth step, that is from the 12th stanza to the 16th stanza. The poet says that the dead villagers were not poor in talents, they were not born inferior. No one is born inferior, no one is born superior. The villagers would have been great persons if they had great opportunities. The villagers could not make progress. The villagers could not make progress because they could not get opportunity. If they had got opportunities, they would have been great poets like John Milton, great politicians like Oliver Cromwell and Charles Hampden. The poet compares them to the gems lying in the bottom of the ocean and the flowers blooming in the desert air. So the villagers were not poor in talents, they were not born inferior, but they couldn't get education, they couldn't get opportunity to make progress. Then the poet moves to the fifth step, and that begins from the stanza that continues from the stanza 17th to 19th. The villagers lived very simple life. They were not famous. They could not earn name and fame, but the villagers lived sinless, crimeless, and spotless lives. They didn't commit crimes. They were not mad after money and power. They did not kill any kith and kin, rishtedar, to get the crown, to get the throne. So sweet are the uses of adversity. The villagers were not sinners. They couldn't become famous, but they didn't commit any crime. Then the poet moves to the sixth step of the poem, that begins from the 20th stanza and comes to an end with the 23rd stanza. And here the poet presents the description of the stones on the graves of the villagers. There are stones on the graves of the villagers. These stones serve the purpose of elegy. These stones are the monuments. And why are the monuments built? Because everyone wants to be remembered after death. This is a very common human desire. Love for earth, love for life is universal. Nobody wants that he or she must be forgotten after one's death. So these stones serve that purpose. So this is a very common human desire to be remembered after death. Then the poet moves to the seventh step. That is a step from the 24th stanza to 29th stanza. Here the poem becomes subjective and autobiographical, and the poet presents his own picture. The poet presents his own character sketch. He imagines that one day he will die, he will be buried in the same graveyard, and some other poet will come. A man with a philosophical mind will come and ask about the poet. Then some old villager will tell the inquirer what type of a man Gray used to be. So Gray presents himself as a lover of nature, as a worshipper of nature, as a friend to mankind, who was not very famous, but he was very simple lifer and he loved mankind. After presenting the character sketch, the poet presents his epitaph. So what is the epitaph? Epitaph consists of the lines written about some dead person. I don't know whether these lines have been written on the grave of Thomas Gray or not, but the epitaph also presents Gray as a lover of mankind. The epitaph says that Thomas Gray was not a famous man, was not a powerful man, but he was the man of knowledge. He loved mankind, he was a friend of the poor, and he had full faith in God. He was a very kind-hearted man. He wept for the poor people. So the poem comes to an end with his prayer to God, with his faith in God. So this is the summary of the poem, comprehensive summary of the poem. I hope you must have gone through it. And today I will provide you with the explanation of important stanzas and the essay type question. So goodbye till then. Okay.